So thank you for joining us, Dr. Snehal. It is indeed an honor for us, both the campuses, Abu Dhabi as well as Dubai campus, that you accepted our invitation to be speaker for a series of webinars wherein parenting is a topic. I think it is perennial. It is always there, and parenting is a skill that probably cannot be taught. We can only share our experiences and with the people, with parents, so that we can help the others, help each others, because we are in the activity of education, and education in a way part parenting, because our responsibility as teachers and principals and academic coordinators is not limited to only giving the academic and the scholastic and post-scholastic skills, but also developing the right attitude. And in this, we are partners with the parents, and I think it is very important that we help the parents as much as we can with tips and with ideas, by inviting highly reputed people like you who have done a lot of work in this field. So Dr. Snehal, thank you so much. Mr. Salim, you can take it forward. I also extend a very warm welcome to our Director Operations, Mr. Amol Vaidya, and all the parents and the teachers and the staff members who have joined this webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Salim will take it forward and we'll go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. A very good morning to all of you, especially Dr. Snehal, our principal, Mr. Ramesh, Dr. Hina, principal Abu Dhabi campus, Mr. Amol, all the teachers and parents who have joined us. Without further ado, I would like to give it to Dr. Snehal to start the presentation. But before doing that, let me give a brief introduction about Dr. Snehal. Dr. Snehal Deshpande is a well-respected and an important member of the physiotherapy fraternity. With over 25 the profession with immense grace, sincerity, and perseverance. Her contribution towards the field of pediatrics has been vast, owing to her passion and dedication towards improving the quality of life of the special kids population. And her institute, SNEH, RERC, believes in providing quality therapy with a multidisciplinary approach, and therefore considers teamwork and love towards kids to be the key components in rehabilitation. She has gone out of her way and achieved certification in all relevant techniques necessary for pediatric rehabilitation, such as NDT, which is neurodevelopment technique, and SI, that is sensory integration, connections and attachment, kinesiotaping, TheraBand, pediatric orthopedics, gait, and many more. Today, we are fortunate enough to have Dr. Snehal with us. And as Sir mentioned, we'll be having the pleasure of having some more webinars with her in the future. So without further delaying, I would like Dr. Snehal to take over the presentation and interact with all of us, with our parents, teachers, and all the attendees today who are with us in this webinar. Thank you. Dr. Snehal, please.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for inviting me. I'm honored to be with you all. I love to share and care for my little ones. The children, however big they may be, they are children to me. So yes, I have been in the field of rehabilitation of atypical, but a lot of typical families have approached me for challenges which they feel they can't manage. Challenges with behaviors, challenges with inspiration, challenges with motivation. So we decided to talk on this topic of self-regulation, which I feel is a very important topic. It stems from the basic practices I follow as a therapist, and my certification and attachment and connections, which I did to understand parental relations better with the children, has helped me to change my outlook towards self-regulation. We all feel that, oh, he's not listening to me, oh, she's not listening to me. So let us understand today. As he said, we're going to walk 3 to 4 sessions, but today is the first one which we are going to tackle, self-regulation. I'll start screen sharing. I would like to keep this interactive. At any point you all feel like asking any questions, you're welcome to do that. Slideshow. And link from the current slide. There you go. So the topic is self-regulation. Now you'll ask me, what has self-regulation got to do with children? So I would like to ask you the question, what does this term self-regulation mean to you? Anything, just a word if you all can. Oh, that's me. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. That's me. And when I was taking one of the webinars, one of the therapists just drew me there, she doodled me there. So I'm a developmental therapist. I'm also a life coach. As you mentioned rightly, I have an institution called as SNEA RERC. The other half of me is I'm a heartfulness practitioner and a trainer, and I'm the director of the continuing medical education programs for medical and healthcare professionals. So that's me. And I love children. I'm very passionate about children, whatever age they come to me. So what does this term self-regulation mean to you? I would like, even if it's in a word, whatever you feel, just put it in your chat boxes, into the chat box. Any ideas, any thoughts? We are going to talk on self-regulation. So I would like to understand from you all, what is your understanding of the term self-regulation? Is anyone putting in the chat box? Yes. Self-discipline. Rohit Singla has put, to control oneself. Okay. That's it.
Being a panelist, I'm unable to put it in the chat box, but I'd be saying, Dr. Sneha. So to me, self-regulation means being able to manage our emotions, Very
true. Very, very true. Very much in line with what we are going to talk today. Thank you so much. So controlling oneself, self-discipline, having a particular way of doing things, self-control of emotions, Prajit has put, to train oneself to imbibe the qualities required. So every one of us has various ways of looking at self-regulation. So let us today look at this topic and understand what it actually means. Now, before going into the topic, I'm a physiotherapist, so I will ask you all to do an activity. If you're, of course, it's a small activity, you all will be able to do it. So when you raise your hands up, if you can see me, this is the tree. Okay, this is the branch, and this is the leaf. So it is tree, branch, and leaf. Tree, branch, and leaf. Now I would request you to follow me. Okay, so tree, branch, and leaf. Tree, branch, and leaf. Tree, branch, and leaf. Tree, branch, and leaf. So I'm sure you all may have been wondering, what happened, what happened, what happened, something going wrong. So that's exactly what happens when we are dealing with this complex organ, which is called as one of the organs. Okay, we are endowed with a lot of good things, and that is the brain. So when we saw, and what you heard, and what you did, there were three different things what happened. And we really wanted to coordinate between what is happening, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm doing. And that's what a child who is born tries to do. That is what an adult who is going to office tries to do. That is what all of you all here are trying to do when you are trying to connect with me. So it was all about sorting out little things, putting the jigsaw pieces in very simple terms. There's a jigsaw puzzle in front of you. You just lift up the pieces and you start putting it into the puzzle. That's exactly what, in a simple way, what self-regulation means. How do I remove the chat box? Okay, now this is a video and I would request you to tell.
दरवाजे के पीछे लड़की है।
अभी अभी मुझे लंच में ना
Just tell me, can you all see self-regulation here? Just look at the video and study the video. Check whether you can see self-regulation here and in what forms can you see self-regulation.
सुनो ना, अब घड़ी नहीं मिल रही है।
लड़की के नीचे देखा?
अरे हाँ।
हमें सुना ना
सारा बेटा, तुम्हारा ड्राइवर वेट कर रहा है।
बस अब वो निकल रही हूँ 2 मिनट। ये लंच आपका? जल्दी खा लेना। ऐसी।
आयान, तुम्हारे घर से लंच बॉक्स आया है।
आयान बेटा, कभी ये मत समझना कि तुम्हें सुनने के लिए मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है। मुझे अच्छी तरह मालूम है कि तुम्हें कब किस चीज का दिल करता है।
क्लिनिक से इमरजेंसी कॉल आई थी अयान, अम्मी निकल चुकी हैं।
बेटा, एग्जाम लिखने से पहले एक बात समझ लो, तुम्हारे मार्क्स कम हुए ज्यादा, अम्मी का प्यार कभी कम नहीं होगा।
अब बगैर चश्मे के खेलेंगे तो यही होगा ना अब्बू।
अरे 2 दिन से ढूंढ रहा हूँ, पता नहीं कहाँ चले गए।
अयान, अगर गलती मान लेने की ताकत हो तो गलती माफ हो सकती है।
दादू,
अच्छा हुआ ढूंढ गए, वैसे भी काफी पुराने हो गए थे, कल नए ले आते हैं।
तूने मेरा ड्राइवर कर दिया। मैंने नहीं किया। मैंने नहीं किया। आपको कैसे मालूम है?
मुझे प्रिंसिपल ने फोन करके बताया कि सॉरी बहुत छोटी सी चीजें हैं यार, पर कभी कभी बड़े कमाल कर जाती है।
सॉरी।
नाश्ता अच्छे से कर लेना। ठीक है।
अम्मी, आप ही ने कहा था ना कि मीठी चीज शेयर करने से और भी मीठी हो जाती है।
दिल का एक टुकड़ा दिल दुगना कर गया, दिल का एक टुकड़ा दिल दुगना कर गया, एक लम्हे को ऐसे बांटा सारा कर्ज उतर गया।
रियल रिश्तों की एक अलग ही मिठास होती है, Big Dreams का केक।
So, my dear friends, this is what self-regulation means at a participation level. So, there is a neurological level and there is a participative level. In simple terms, it means actually forming relationships which are meaningful to every one of us. Every single act, every single connection seems to form an impression on the brain. There are synapses, there are neurons which are continuous, and your emotions, the way you approach the problem, the way you approach the scenario helps you to form stronger connections or connections which completely throw you off your base. So you're walking on a fence, you either go that side, you go this side. So it refers to several complicated processes. So I don't want to go into those complicated processes. I showed it to you as a simple little story what was shown, that allow the child to appropriately respond to the environment. And as you could see, the mother was just a catalyst. She was also busy in her own field, and so was the entire family. But a lot of lessons emerged out of this little video. Number one is accepting every person in the family, loving that person, adapting to what that person is. That's very, very important. So the human self-regulation is like a thermostat. A thermostat senses and measures the temperature and compares its reading to the preset threshold. So it allows you to reframe your behavior by responding in a way and developing strategies which would enhance your inner self. So initially, she allowed the child to recognize the stressors. She also allowed the child to reduce the stressors. She allowed the child to reflect on what is happening, and then finally develop the strategies. And all of us have to understand as parents, and rightly put right in the beginning, that we are caregivers. So more than the parents, many a times the caregivers influence the little ones more. There's a direct connection which develops between us and the little ones. I very well today still remember my first standard teacher. I come from very humble beginnings, and I lost my father when I was 5. So it was this teacher who actually took care of me. She protected me from other children so that they would not come. And you know what happens when there's something happens in a family, the girl, oh, she's coming. So it's a teacher who took care of me. So whether it is a parent, whether it is a teacher, whether it is a therapist, we are all caregivers. And whether we are the part of this entire universe, we are caregiving to each other. We are forming a system which is taking care of each other. So in short, what does parenting mean? Parenting refers to the intricacies of raising a child, not exclusively to a biological relationship. So in that sense, if you look at it, we are all leaders and we are creating leaders. You could see in that little story also that that little boy was actually emerging into leaders. So everything what was coming, the information coming in from all ways was making him and fine tuning him into is a leader. All connect and find joy in whatever we are doing. Finding joy, finding happiness, and spreading that happiness is very, very essential to develop a good regulation amongst the community. So from self, we go to the community. So starting with this, I would like to start with some affirmations which I have got as a heartfulness trainer. Possibly we'll just do the first one today and we'll leave the rest to the next time when we talk of neuroplasticity. We'll just do one so that it helps us connect with each other. Take a deep breath. Understand that breathing has a lot of impact on systems of your the central nervous system, maybe your digestive system. So whenever you want to relax, you just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. So sit back comfortably, relax, take a deep breath and breathe out. Just feel what I'm going to say. You can close your eyes gently if you feel like. If you want to keep them open, you're free to. But for a better experience, it's better to keep them closed. So feel comfortable wherever you are. Breathe in and breathe out. And when you breathe in, Breathe in all the love which Mother Universe wants to give you. And when you breathe out the joy and happiness to every single person in this universe, to every single particle in the universe, with a thought that we are all connected in love, happiness, peace. We feel the love, we feel the joy, and we feel that happiness together. Just feel the connection between all of us as we emerge on the first day of this webinar as one unit. You're free to open your eyes now. So this is one of the tools which I offered to you. As I walk along, I'll be giving you all tools and I will be also describing how you can use them. So this tool where we connect from within to ourselves and without, that is to the family and to the universe, can be done at whatever time. You enter a classroom, you enter the house after a long day at office. Just sit back, relax and connect with the feeling of joy and radiate that joy from within to everyone and see the difference. If you have had some amount of an argument at work, maybe you can just sit back, relax and feel this. I'm sure it will make a big difference. So now these are times of uncertainty, and this pandemic, as we are seeing, has taught us big time lessons. So when it started, we were all like that. I'm confused. What is come upon? Can I go out? Can I breathe in front of this person? Can I remove my mask? Am I safe? Should I go to my workplace? This is how all of us were. Even as healthcare professionals, we were at stake to understand what's happening. But fortunately, I'm also attached as a consultant in one of the reputed hospitals in Mumbai. So our CEO decided nothing doing. 2 weeks down the line, every person is supposed to be there in the hospital, and you all went. And believe me, there have been a lot of learnings which have come into this. The first learning is, if in under any situation, you keep yourself positive and say that we are in it together, we are all human and we can take care of each other, that itself helps. And the second thing was a great sense of responsibility and discipline. A great sense of responsibility and discipline, which I saw in him and which I see, which has helped us to walk through. So wearing a mask, keeping the distance, doing the sanitization has helped us. So we are seeing little babies who are around 1 month, 2 months, who are being discharged from the hospital, newborns in the hospital. So all these are healthcare systems which you cannot refuse to people. But at the same time, we have to take care, which is of utmost. We have to take care of ourselves. And that's exactly what I'm driving to, that as parents, as caregivers, we have to take care of ourselves first and develop ourselves first to give these results. So it is the brain which actually gives us negative biases. We always see numbers. US has so many numbers, India has so many numbers, Singapore has done well, this country has not done well. But we forget that there are many positive aspects which can come out of a negative situation. Celebrating every little ones who have been taken care of by the security people, and also seeing at the overall health of the society, which is much better. All of us have started taking care of our health. All of us have started doing exercises. All of us have started following diets. All of us have started meditating. So this drives back to an important fact, and there is a beautiful book, if I want to read, that on relationships, on the neuroscience of relationships, which states that relationships are our natural habitat. So you're not defined by the family which you come in, or from the state or the city. You are defined by the world in which you're living in. So that way relationships become our natural habitat. So there has been a shift in the stage of the pandemic in this situation from dominance, power, and control to empathy, emotional intelligence, and compassion. And as we have seen, that we may have planned a lot of things beginning of 2020 and we are not there. The same thing happens for a little one, for an adolescent, for a child who is about to enter college. They plan big things. The parents also plan big things. But always the reality is different because life never comes with a set of instructions. So how do you really then lead life if this is going to happen, if the pandemic is going to come, if there are going to be glitches, then look at. So the journey starts with me. It's myself. But how to build a lasting relation is just invert the M and turn it into a V. Very important. I'm stressing a lot on this V because in this last 6 months, I think organizations which have believed in the concept of we have really thrived. The striving, efforts which are being put in by the management towards maintaining the we have resulted into building bridges for the employees, and these are organizations which have lasted. So it is time to rediscover yourself as an individual. The question which you can ask yourself today, if you want to self-regulate, if you want to, again, this is the second tool which I'm giving you. The first tool which I gave you was when we did our connection. This is a second tool of self-reflection. Ask your child, ask yourself, what is the best thing about you? Write it down. What do you like most about yourself? What are you like when you are at your best? And how can your strengths help you in future? So whenever you start thinking of this is again a formation of neuronal connections which helps you to go deep within yourself and to form a sort of an self-image, which is very important. So this is again another tool which can be used. Do use this. The 4 questions what I've written down. What is the best thing for you? What do you like most about yourself? What are you like when you're at your best? And how can your strengths help you in future? So the need to connect with each other does not begin in times of the pandemic, begins at the time of conception. Cells connect, they multiply, and they form the basic structure from which complex organization occurs, maturing into what we call is the human being or the human infant. So seriously, are you asking the babies to self-regulate? Are you asking them to meditate? Are they even capable of thinking? So these are questions which drove me to do a lot of reading. When does consciousness emerge in a baby? When does a baby start thinking? So this is exactly from the study which was made on 240 babies. Some of them did not comply to all that what was put on their head. And it was, there were fleets of consciousness which emerged at 5 months old. For everyone who looks into the infant's sparkling eyes and wondered what goes on into that little fuzzy head, there is an answer. Babies display glimmers of consciousness and memory as early as 5 months old. And again, research which is coming in from the epigenetic field says and states that every cell has a memory, every cell in the body. There is something which is called as a global neuronal workplace which exists within all of us, within our brains. And this is a combination of all the different parts of the brain, all the sensory systems, everything working hand in hand together. So suppose I grab my glass of water or a coffee cup, or there's an event which is happening. There are various things. It is like your IT company, a lot of things happening in that little small organ which is happening. It is much more, the connections are much more complicated, and I don't think any computer engineer would be able to sort out this. But to sort out that organ, you have another organ which we are endowed with, and that is the heart. So it is in a few days or few years behind, we used to think, how can we obey the heart? How can we become emotional? But more and more, when we are reading new research which is coming in, it is the qualities of the heart which are very important to be developed in a baby. I'm talking about go back, not into an adolescent, starting from the baby age. It's very, very important to talk about love. It's very, very important to talk about connection. It's very, very important to give them an experience. This is again from my connections and attachment. Positive experiences can meet needs for safety, satisfaction, and connection. Okay, so there's a lovely book which is written by Rick Hansen, which is on hardwiring happiness, which you all should read. And it is said that these positive experiences can change the structure of our brain. Experience is one thing which you can't get for nothing. This is a nice quote which I got from Oscar Wilde, and it really inspires me a lot. So what are the life skills you will then teach the children? Very importantly, time management. Subah utta nahi hai, morning they don't get up, they hesitate to get up, they don't organize things, they can't make their decisions. This is all what the parents come to me with complaints. Social responsibility. So how do I manage time? How do I organize my little bag? How do I have my own little clock which I can hear, listen? It's okay. If they don't listen to the clock, don't get up, let them not do anything. But start creating habits. Tell them that this is your alarm clock. You're supposed to listen to this and get up in the morning. That's your responsibility. How do I organize? This is your backpack. This is your tiffin. You're supposed to carry it to school. Or this is your work table where you're going to have an online class. You're going to organize it. Decision making. This is the time frame available. You have to decide what needs to be done. On a holiday, let them help you in the kitchen and say, okay, you can make a sandwich. Maybe you can help me in washing my, taking the laundry. What is my social responsibility? Is there someone special who is living around you, a special child? Or maybe you may have a pet. Maybe you have plants. So looking at social responsibility, looking at environmental responsibility, these are little things, habits which can be built into them. How do I connect? See, children don't know how to connect. They can in the initial 1 year. They connect very naturally. Up to 3 years, they're full of wonder. They're full of naturalness. But the moment they are endowed with, the peers coming in, oh, you don't do this. The adults say, oh, you go and sit quietly. Don't come out. We are talking. Elders are talking. So how does one communicate? Give them the freedom to choose how to connect and communicate. How do I sleep? Sleep is a major problem which all of us face. The little ones face it big time. So and sleep is a responsible factor for poise. It is responsible for self-regulation. It is responsible and has impact on all the systems in our body. And last but not the least, how do I develop and maintain my friends? These are important things which we will be covering in the next few today and in the next few webinars which we are going to have. But what I can suggest is give them work. Give them the onus of their life's responsibility. Don't take it into your kitty. Understanding that parenting is not a Sunday job. I always tell the parents who come to me this single thing. They say, "Acha time. We are there with our kids on weekends. I'm working from 8 to 5 or maybe 9 to 7. Then evening I come home and I cook. The baby sitting next to me seeing the mobile." Hello, parenting is not a Sunday job. It's a project which is much more important than what you are having projects at home. Coming to concerns what the parents have. In the early life, they feel once the baby emerges out of the womb, the baby should sleep well, feed well, breathe well, and smile. No crying. They should accept feeding well. They should drink the milk as per given. If they drink more, if they drink less, there's a problem. If they sleep less, if they sleep more, there's a problem. So parents are concerned with basic life systems which the children have. They are natural. And they're going to naturally show up and down scenarios. How do we deal with those scenarios? Is by giving them boundaries, by being with them. So again, understanding the systems. I won't go into details here. Maybe when we talk of the neural plasticity, I'll talk of the sensory systems. But emerging systems and how to work with them, how to give a baby boundary so that he or she in early life is up to 3 years, can sleep, feed, breathe, and smile, is a challenge which every parent should understand. Coming to the young ones and adolescents, they feel they should sit in one place for long hours and study. My child should top the class. They should behave well. They should form relationship and they should maintain the relationships. And they should take turns when they are competing. They should play sports. They should excel in this and da and da and da, and the list goes on. But understand, we are expecting from them. We are trying to push our expectations on them. The little ones who cannot even carry their bags, they are like, oh really, my mother expects so much out of me. And believe me, they understand from your vibrations, they understand from your thoughts. You need not even express what is happening or what you want them to happen. So hold on before you even expect so much. Pause. Every transition for each human being is a paradigm shift. It's like if someone goes out of the house, relocates, or if you change from India to Middle East, it's a big shift. It's a paradigm shift. Can we adjust? This is all self-regulation. Can we find that space of connect immediately? If we cannot do it, how do we expect the children to do it? So taking a pause, breathing, giving that adjustment, that time for adjustment, it's very, very, very essential. So just let them settle down. Going to school on day one, they're going to cry. Growing from 10th standard to college is going to become a paradigm shift. Emotions are the same. They may not cry at that time, but emotions are the same. Understand that there are paradigm shifts happening in every transition which happens in a human being. So looking at the joy of parenting, when little people are overwhelmed by big emotions, it is our job to share our calm and not join the chaos. It's so essential. We also get chaotic, but we should be there and say, okay, come, let's walk together. I love you. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what's the water saying. Let's see. Just nature is the best place to take them to. Even if you can't go out, maybe playing in water at home for the little ones, doing constructively something together, planting a plant. These are things which you can do so well. Come, let's watch the sunrise. Let's watch the sunset. Don't get overwhelmed by their emotions. Just, take them off from where they are in that sort of whirlpool and slide them off slowly. How does that happen? In olden days, in Indian families, even abroad, there were a lot of joint family systems which are now going into nuclear families, and that's a challenge which most of our parents are facing. What's important to the child? We don't ever understand what's important to them. The first thing is relationships, very important. You saw in that video, very important. Everyone's relationship, grandfather, grandmother, father, mother, the caregiver who comes to look after the child, the teacher, every single person. Many a times they are very, very close to the caregivers, teachers, than they are with their parents. So relationships, very important. Separations, they can't take it. Involvement in activities, many people come to me, are wo dhyan nahi deta hai, they are having attention deficits, they are hyperactive. But how can you inculcate the involvement if you are on your mobile 200% of the time? When you are sitting with the child and when you are getting involved with the child, can we or do we keep our mobiles aside? More and more, there is an increasing percentage of attention deficit children who are coming to me and they are high IQ. Are we teaching them to focus? So focusing on a task is very important. Their moods are very important. For them, their self-image is important. Their anxiety level is important. Their impulse control is important. And transitions. They love to sleep well. They love to sleep very cozily. Are we giving them all these things? So think of these few words: relationships, separations, involvement, focusing, affect, self-image, anxiety, impulse control, and transitions. What are we doing about it? And then you'll realize that these are 7 domains of early childhood development which lead to wellness in future. Wellness as a human being, and wellness, which as a human being can contribute to the society. So we cannot control our mind, but we can regulate it. So we are going to deal with self-regulation of lot of things. One of the aspects is the mind. The other aspects are so many. So one of the aspects is the mind. We cannot control it. We can self-regulate it. We can regulate it. So what do we regulate? We can start working on emotional regulation. We can start working on self-management. We can start working on executive functioning, willpower, and little activities, as I have told you, go a big way, long way to build bridges between us and ourselves. And once you build a bridge within yourself, you can automatically build it with the children. Understanding that every one of us is made of thoughts, and every thought has a vibration. If you have a good thought, it has a vibration. If you have love, it has a vibration. If you have hate, it has a vibration. So your thoughts, your feelings, your presence, everything is vibration. So how do we then understand what it is? So behind anger, if a child is angry, if a child is throwing a tantrum, there must be something what's going on inside. Try to understand what's going on inside. Make efforts as a parent. Suppose you're doing some project in your school, if you're doing a project in your office, you definitely have log sheets, right? You can approach people, you can approach us and ask us, how do emotions work? What is it that my child is telling me? I'm feeling okay, it's on the green border, green zone. So we therapists study zones in which the children come to us. Green zone, blue zone, yellow zone, red zone, whether there are meltdowns. So whenever there is a meltdown, understanding from where it is coming, what is the child feeling? Asking him, are you feeling confused? Are you feeling rejected, helpless? This is very important to understand what they are feeling. From there, you go to the outer circle and then you get what has to be done with them. The parents' goals have to be to develop the life skills, or to help the child develop, not develop, help the child develop the life skills by developing self-awareness, empathy, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, problem solving. Each of it is a workshop by itself, but understanding that these are little things which we can do. So whenever we force children, they feel, please leave me, don't come on me, jaan le loge meri, that type. So chill, they have lots in life. How do we do all this? Simple. I showed you so many things. Simple thing what you can do is create a circle of security for the child. Even if you're working, that's exactly what the video showed. I need you. This is a circle of security. This is coming again from my connections and attachment. This is called as a safe haven, H-A-V-E, in heaven for the child, which creates a secure base. So this is created by this is the space in which the caregivers and the children exist. The child comes to the caregiver when he wants, but he says that you should support my exploration, and he can go out, but whenever he comes back, he needs to be welcomed. He needs to be felt protected, comforted, delighted, and also he needs help in organizing his feelings. So form this circle of security to raise secure children. Look at the intrinsic motivation. Create that intrinsic motivation. It's okay. Don't go homework complete kiya, ye kiya, wo kiya. Let them have their time and let them have their own talents emerging. The moment you let them grow, it is like raising the other day we were planting trees at home, and I realized that planting trees was not, now you can't be very strong on them. And my husband was telling me, very gentle, don't push your hand into the mud because the plant will get destroyed, the roots will get destroyed. So gentle I had to be when I was planting that little thing. So when you're looking at children, all the more we have to be more and more gentle. Engaging in a behavior because it is personally rewarding, not for an external reward. This is very important. So I am doing something because I am feeling happy at the end of the day. I'm giving a toy, I'm sharing my book with someone, or I'm helping someone. Maybe if he's in 9th standard, you can say, take care of someone who's in 5th standard, 5th grade, and say that, okay, we can help you to read, we can listen to a story. So that will motivate the child to do more. Finding the fun element. Unless we find that we are enjoying, we will never do it. That is the rule children follow. So finding the fun in doing things is very important for them. So these are the F words for kids, which we follow for our cerebral palsy or children with atypical impairments, but these are across the borders, can be used for everyone. The first thing important to the child, as I said, is function. They definitely need to be engaged. Other than the syllabus, engage them in housework, engage them in little things. Create that family bond. Even if your grandparents are staying maybe in India, elsewhere, let them connect with them. Very important. Fitness, every single day there has to be something. Not because school is telling you, you have to run into fitness. Have friends and have special friends too. And have a lot of fun, tons of fun, and look at the future. What does my future mean to me? What am I going to do about it? So these are domains of self-regulation. So I've interspersed science with fun, with applications. So these are skills for behavioral regulation, for cognitive regulation, and for emotional regulation. So all these skills will give you cognitive, emotional integration. Like, for example, if you're taking cognitive regulation, you look at the attention, you look at flexibility, you look at goal setting, planning, monitoring, decision making, problem solving, and perspective taking. If you look at behavior, it is looking how do we follow rules and directions, control negative impulses, how do you delay gratification, persist on complex tasks, conflict resolution, active behavioral coping, and organization of time and materials. And when you're looking at emotional regulation, it is self-soothing, physical relaxation, feelings, identification, empathy, attention shifting, appraisal, and cognitive restructuring. Now, understand one important aspect, that children are suggestible and impressionable. So, infusing them with right values and inspiring them is necessary for a better world. Maintaining a sense of wonder. This again comes from the book Neuroscience of Relationships, Neurobiology and Neuroscience of Relationships, from wonder to wisdom. Understand that the brain is a social organ of adaptation built through the interactions with others. There is no single human brain. The brains exist only within the network of other brains. It is the power of being with others that shapes our brains. Coming to the next, after we talked of self-regulation, it is co-regulation. I have mentioned a lot on this, but still, development of self-regulation is dependent on co-regulation provided by parents, caregivers through warm and responsive interactions in which support coaching, modeling to facilitate the child's ability to understand, express, and modulate their thoughts, feelings, and behavior. A short story. I'm a storyteller at heart, and this is a lovely story which I like. Anthropologist went to Africa with a bag of chocolates which he placed under a tree. He wanted to see the reactions, and he told the children, the one who runs and gets the bag of chocolates gets the entire bag. So these children huddled up together and they spoke to each other, and they decided, come on, let's go. And they held the hands and ran together. So then when he asked them after some time, why are you doing this when one person could have got and won? He said, they told him that winning is when all of us win together. It is not about one of us, it is about all of us getting an equal share and getting a little bit, maybe not more, but every one of us gets a little bit. So that is the philosophy of Ubuntu. I am because we are. Take each day as an opportunity and aspire to excel in every aspect of your life. That is one more teaching or one more part of self-regulation. And life's battles don't always go to a stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. So inside every single child, inside every single person is a Superman. I'm very inspired by Moana. I love Moana. And so also I'm inspired by myself. That's the reason I took up this profession. Because whenever I bring a smile to someone who is coming to me, I get inspired more. Because we are making a shift in the quality of life. As teachers, as parents, let us strive to let the children rediscover the Superman and the Superwoman within them. What they can do. The moment they know that they can do something for someone else, they feel that, okay, I'm here to take the responsibility. The way forward is first acceptance of all of us as human beings, realigning our entire life towards accepting what my child is, what he or she can do, and what he can do, what he is good in. Repeat that. Revolve your efforts around project your little one. Rejuvenate him, rejuvenate yourself, and resonate in the vibration of love. Very, very essential. Understand that biological rhythms play a very important role in everyone's life. All of us have thrown the biological rhythms off our windows. Reset your clock. Reset the clock for your child and see what wonders it can develop. Seek to understand. Seek to look at how your attachment cycle is. As I told you about the circle of security, this is exactly what happens. Baby is resting, he experiences discomfort or need, projects it as crying. If you do not respond, then the baby again cries louder, whether it is crying or whether it is a protest of an adolescent. It is the same thing. So when you become empathetic towards that person, towards the child, automatically there's a connection which develops between you. As I said, sleep has an important role to play. I think one slide was jumped from the biological rhythm. This is play and connect. Play is an important facet of life, even in adults. We need to understand that we need to play badminton, tennis, physical games, board games, whatever is available. It develops a lot of connection. So there's a program which is called as Roots of Empathy, which is driven by a Canadian organization, which they use babies to develop connects. So having a baby to connect, to play with, if not playing within ourselves as a family, maybe carom, maybe a board game, maybe a word game, is very, very important. So please, all of us have to understand we need to realign our priorities. Whenever we look at our mobiles and we feel, oh, that call is important to us, think whether the child is important or the call is important. Whether your mobiles are important, what is important. So realign your priorities. Passwords to banks, if they are lost, can be re-got. But if you forget the password to your babies, you have a big time in re-establishing that. So look at the values of peace, joy, integrity, compassion, collaboration, empathy, excellence, respect, and service. So you have to make children happy. I love this movie. Please go and watch it. It is Patch Adams, and it gives you beautiful value systems which you can run for your life. So this is where I end, that whenever we look at problems in a reverse way, they disappear. So if you do a sort of a somersault, problems disappear. So you become at ease. The concept of disease comes to being at ease. And let us all give that feeling of ease, feeling of I'm joyous and I'm happy. And that's what self-regulation is all about. Abundance of joy, abundance of happiness which you can give to your child. That can happen when you are happy, when you're joyful. And all of us have to create that joy for each other, so that because we are vibrational human beings affecting a web of energy with our presence. I always tell the parents, whenever you sit under an aircon, you feel cold, you go out, it's hot, because it is the temperature or that feeling, that atmosphere which is affecting you. So you as a vibrational being, suppose you're anxious, you are depressed, automatically your child will feel that. So create good vibrations within you and help your child rediscover that deep lying pearl inside. It's very essential. A good heart, benevolent feelings, and balanced mind lie as a foundation of character. It must be capable of standing firm in the in the world of daily work, temptations, trials, and be able to bear the wear and tear of actual life. In the last slide, understand that you don't possess your children. Your children are not your children. They are sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. It's a beautiful poetry. I just took a part of it from Khalil Gibran. Please feel free to go back and read it. We stop self-regulation here today. We finish it today with a small video. I'll show you if it is possible.
सर आपके लिए उस पार कार का इंतजाम किया है। चल चल
चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले। लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे, हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाला करे। ओ लगा हाथ के सूरज सुबह निकाला करे, हथेलियों में भरे धूप और उछाला करे। उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो पकड़ के चलो, उफक पे पाँव रखो और चलो पकड़ के चलो, फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो, फलक पकड़ के उठो और हवा पकड़ के चलो। तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, तुम चलो तो हिंदुस्तान चले, हिंदुस्तान चले।
So let us develop, just a minute. So let us lead our children to a new life and make them capable of leading the new world and becoming leaders wherever they are, of their families, of their companies and their world. Thank you.